Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In this video, I'm going to talk about derivatives of inverse trigonometric functions. First one, sine inverse. So if we have sine inverse of u, so the derivative, the sine inverse u dx equal to 1 over square root 1 minus u squared multiplied by the derivative of u with respect to x. Example number 1. To find the derivative, we have y equal to sine inverse of 4x. So the derivative dy dx equal to 1 over square root 1 minus 4x squared multiplied by the derivative of 4x multiplied by the derivative of 4x. So is equal to, now this one is 1 over radical 1 minus 16 x squared multiplied by 4. That is for x 4. So we can write it here. Okay, so we can write it this one here. Can write it direct 4. Okay, so this one, the derivative of sine inverse of 4x. Another example, I write it here beside. Okay, let us see. I want to find the derivative of y equal sine inverse 1 over 5 1/5 x. So the derivative is dy dx equal to 1 over square root 1 minus 1 over 5x squared, I mean 1 over 25 x squared. Multiply the derivative 1 over 5x, x is 1, so it'll be 1 over 5. This is can be simplified. I can write this one 1 over square root 25 by 1, I write this 25 minus x squared. Okay, we can then I can do all over 25. And then what I have 1 over 5. So this one will be 1 over radical 25 minus x squared. Really, this will be over because this one, see the square root here. I have the square root for all. So squared for all. So I have a square root of all. So then I can write square root of the numerator over the square root of denominator, which is 5, will be 5. So it will be over this one over 5. And here comes 1 over 5. And this one is equal to this written as 5 now over square root 25 minus x squared and 1 over 5. So then you can cancel this 5 with this 5. So the answer is 1 over square root 25 minus x squared. 25 minus x squared. Okay, another example. So this example, sine inverse 1 over 5x. Okay, right here, another example. Now this one. Okay, so let us say y equal, example, y equal to sine inverse of 3x squared. So the dy dx equal to 1 over square root 1 minus this one squared. So then what I have 3x squared squared. And what mean 9 and x squared squared be x power 4. X power 4. So be 9 x power 4. You can write it direct now. This one is 1 minus 9x power 4. Multiply by the derivative of 3x squared. The derivative is 6x. So multiply by 6x. That is me. The answer is equal to 6x over radical 1 minus 9x4. Now, another example that I said I have in this example, sine y equal to sine inverse of square root x. What the derivative? So dy dx equal to 1 over square root 1 minus square root x squared. Why? Because you have 1 minus u squared. Now this will represent the u. This is the u. So 1 minus u squared times what times? The derivative of what? The derivative of square root of x. What the derivative is? This one will be 1 over 2 radical x. Why? Because this one means here x power half, and the derivative is mean half, and x negative half. And you can write it 1 over 2, negative half will be positive half, denominator, yani 1 square root x. It's okay? So this will be the answer here. Okay, okay. Okay. Now, this one is equal to, then now is equal to, we have 1 over, so we can write this one 2 radical x multiplied by 1 minus x, 1 minus x. Because this one square will be x. Okay. Now, what about if we have maybe sometimes have a product, for example, let's say y equal to, I have product x squared multiplied by sine inverse 2x. And let's start with, for example, I have here power. Let us say the power here I have 3, for example, power 3. So now what is the derivative of this one? I have to use the product rule. The product rule of which one? U v prime, the derivative here. Equal what? Equal to first one times the derivative of the second one, then plus the second one, which is v, times the derivative of the first one. So now this is one represent here the u, okay, and this one represent all this one the v. So u times v. Now what you have? You have u times v. You have to find the derivative of u times v. The product rule. See now the dy dx y prime equal the first x squared, but the derivative of this one. See now the derivative of this one. What is the derivative? See, 3 multiplied by what you have here, sine inverse 2x to the power what? The power 2. Power 2. Okay, this is power 2. The power 2. Multiply by the derivative of sine inverse 2x, which is 1 over u squared, 1 minus 4 x squared, multiply the derivative of 2x, 2. Now this represents all the derivative of sine inverse 2x, 2 all to the power 3. So 3 and minus 1 will be 2. The derivative of sine inverse is 1 over 1 minus u squared, which will be here 4x squared, multiply the derivative of 2x is 2. A plus the second one, the v. What the v is? The v is sine inverse 2x to the power what the power to the power 3. Multiply by times the derivative of the x squared. The derivative of x squared is 2x. 2x. So now this one can be simplified, can be written as, really I have now 3 by 2, and I can write it 6 equals 2 by 3, x squared sine inverse 2x all to the power 2 here over square root 1 minus 4 x squared, plus this one will be here 2x, and I have a sine inverse 2x to the power 3. Power 3 can be simplified, can be taken x and sine inverse. So sky is separate here. Then what about if I have cosine inverse? So the derivative of cosine inverse u dx is equal the same but negative. Negative 1 over radical 1 minus u squared multiplied by the derivative u. The derivative u. So example, if I have cosine, for example, y equal to cosine inverse 5x. So the dy dx. What is the dy dx? Dy dx is equal to negative 1 over radical 1 minus 5x squared will be 25 x squared. Multiply the derivative of 5x is 5. That is mean negative 5 over square root 1 minus 25x squared. Another example. Let us say y is equal cosine inverse of 2x cubed. So now the dy dx. dy dx equal to negative 1 over square root 1 minus. The angle now, what the angle is 2x cubed. So the square will be what? Will be 4, and x cubed square will be x to the power 6. See, I have here 2x cubed. Okay, squared, 2 squared is 4, and x cubed squared is x to the power 6. Why? Because this one 3, this one 2, 3 by 2, 6. Now, multiply by the derivative of 2x cubed will be 6x squared, will be 6x squared, 6x squared. Now, that is mean. Now, the solution is, okay, so that is mean the solution equal to, equal what? Equal negative 6x squared over square root 1 minus 4x power 6. Okay. Okay, another example. Let us say I have y equal cosine inverse e to the power 2x. So now dy dx equal to negative 1 over square root 1 minus e to x. I have e to x squared. So what will be? Will be e to the power 4x. Multiply the derivative of e to x. E is the same. The derivative of the power 2. That is mean. Now the answer is, let's me the answer is, no, this one is no need. Now that means the answer is equal to minus 2e 2x over square root 1 minus e 4x. Okay. Now another example. Here another example. If I have y equal cosine inverse of 4x plus 1. So what is the dy dx? The dy dx is equal to negative 1 over square root 1 minus 4x plus 1 squared. Multiply by the derivative of 4x is 4. So that means the answer is negative 4 over square root 1 minus 4x plus 1 squared. It can be open this in the parentheses. So then will be 16x squared minus 8x. Why? Because 1 with 1 can be cancelled. Okay. Then another example. If I have y is equal to sine inverse of 3x plus cosine inverse 3x. Cosine inverse 3x. So see, this one, the derivative is dy dx is equal to, this will be 1 over square root 1 minus 9x squared times the derivative of 3x is 3. And plus the cosine inverse negative 1 over square root 1 minus 9x squared, 3x squared, multiplied by 3. If you look at here, this one is 3 over radical 1 minus x squared, and minus, we have 3 over radical 1 minus x squared, so it will be 0. The answer is 0. The answer will be 0. Really, there's an identity, which is sine inverse of x plus cosine inverse of x equal what? Equal pi over 2. So then the derivative will be 0 of pi over 2 will be 0. Then you can replace this one all by what? Pi over 2. Okay, then, now, what about the derivative of tan? See, the derivative now of tan. The derivative of tan inverse u, okay, dx is equal to 1 over 1 plus u squared, and you have du dx. So example, okay, right here, example. Let us say y is equal tan of 4x, tan inverse. So now the derivative dy dx is equal 1 over 1 plus 4x squared will be 16x squared, because this one squared. This one 4x squared, because this is u. See what you said? U squared. Now what's the u? 4x. So then will be 16x squared. Multiply by the derivative of 4x. So it is 4 multiplied by 4. That is mean the answer is 4 over 1 plus 16x squared. So 16x squared. And the derivative, another example right here, as to find the derivative y is equal to tan inverse of square root x, for example. So now dy dx is equal to 1 over 1 plus u squared. 1 plus will be x. Why? Because I have square root. This one square, which is will be x. So will be x. It will be x. Multiply by times what times the derivative of square root x? 1 over 2 radical x. Okay. What about cotan inverse? See, I write here now cotan inverse. Cotan inverse. The derivative of cotan inverse, d of cotan inverse of u dx is the same tan inverse, but negative 1. Negative 1, 1 plus u squared. So example, if you have y is equal tan inverse, cotan inverse, I said, okay, be the same, but this is negative cotan inverse. Cotan inverse of x squared, So equal to, now the dy dx, dy dx equal to negative 1 over 1 plus, what plus u squared. Now this is the u. Squared will be x squared. Squared is x to the power 4. Multiply by the derivative of x squared, which is 2x. Multiply by 2x. So that is mean the answer is we have negative 2x over 1 plus x power 4, or x power 4. Okay. And what about the secant now? The secant, the derivative of the secant inverse. So the derivative of secant inverse u dx equal to 1 over absolute value of u multiplied by u squared minus 1. Example, if the y is secant inverse, let us say e to the power 3x. So the derivative will be dy dx equal to 1 over absolute value here, no need because e always positive, multiplied by u squared. So we have e 3x squared. So what will be e to the power 6x? 2 by 3 is 6. Okay, so that will be e to the power 6x. Okay, so will be e to the power 6x minus 1 multiplied by the derivative of e3x. The derivative of e3x. The derivative of e3x is e to the power 3x multiplied by 3, the derivative of the power 3. So then we can cancel e3x with e3x. So then the answer is equal to what? 3 over, I have e to the power 6x minus 1. There's no space. I put it here beside. You have to put it here below. Put it below. Okay, now, if we have, for example, let us say y is equal to secant inverse of x to the power 9. Now, what is the derivative? dy dx equal to 1 over absolute value 9 and power x and 9 squared. So it will be x power 18 because we say square and minus 1 multiplied by the derivative of this one, x to the power 9, x raised 9. So now will be 9. What is the answer? Will be 9 x8. So x8, I have an x8 cancelled with x9. So then the answer will be what? The answer will be 9 over x, absolute value of x, multiplied by x to the power 18 minus 1. X to the power 18 minus 1. Okay. Now, if we have cosecant inverse, what about the cosecant inverse? The derivative of cosecant inverse. Okay. So the derivative of cosecant inverse u dx, the same secant inverse but negative. Negative 1 over absolute value of u, and you have u squared minus 1. So if I said, for example, cosecant inverse, to find the derivative of, I write here, okay. Let us say y. I have here y. I have y equal to cosecant inverse of 2x. So the dy dx is equal to negative 1 over absolute value of 2x multiplied by 2x squared will be 4x squared minus 1. The derivative of 2x is 2. So then the answer will be equal to, the answer I write here, the answer is dy dx is equal to negative 2 over absolute value of 2x. And this 2 can be cancelled, this 2 with 2. Okay, this 2 can be cancelled with this 2. Does not affect the answer. Okay, so then I can write it, this one. So we say this one, 2 with 2 can be cancelled. And I write this one. See, this one now is this one. This one with 2 is it here. So it will be absolute value will be negative 1 over absolute value of x multiplied by 4x squared minus 1. Why? Because I said 2 with 2 and they have only absolute value of x. So again, cosecant inverse negative 1 over absolute value of u. So what is the u? The u is 2x, so absolute value of 2x, and multiplied by square root u squared will be 4x squared minus 1. The derivative of 2x is 2. 2 with 2 cancel. So at the end will be negative 1 over absolute value of x multiplied by 4x squared minus 1.